Hey Jeep fans, we're here working in the shop today. We're going to show you how to do the button head bolt upgrade to a set of steering knuckles. Take it from something like this to something like this. Set of CJ2A knuckles here, and as you can see, these are cast iron, and where your spindle bolts to your knuckle itself is in these 6 bolt holes right here. If you know anything about cast iron, it's not overly strong material. You know, it's easy to work with, easy to manufacture, but over the years, sometimes these bolt holes may get worn out, stripped, anything like that. And because of that, it causes not too strong of a connection from your spindle bolting to them. So this bolt upgrade, we're going to look at from the back side. So we are going to put in some button head screws from the back, and that provides a lot stronger joint, and they're less prone to breaking for those of you who do any sort of off-roading and maybe don't want to go through the hassle of upgrading to a stronger Dana 30 or Dana 44. So let's go over what you're going to need for this conversion. First, you're going to need a set of serviceable knuckles. These ones in particular came off a CJ2A. Next, you're going to need a set of taps to clean out the thread holes. These ones are 3/8 by 24. You can see they're just simple high-speed steel, nothing fancy. Next, you need some sort of tap handle to turn the tap. In a pinch, an adjustable wrench will work as well. Next, you'll need a counter bore. This one in particular is 21/32, and the diameter of it matches the diameter of the heads of the bolts we're going to talk about here in a minute. Next, we need a pilot for the counter bore. On this one, it has a 3/16 shaft, and the pilot on the end is 5/16, and that matches the bolt holes that we're going to be counter boring from the backside. Next, we'll need some sort of Allen wrench or T-handle. This one is 7/32, and it matches the heads of the bolts. Next are the bolts themselves. You can see these are button head with an Allen in the end. These are 1.25 inches long. I got all this stuff from McMaster Car, and I'll put some links in the description so you can see exactly what I used. So before we get started, let's take a look at the knuckles, see what you should be looking for. So we're going to want to make sure the knuckle is in good condition overall. You want to check all the bolt holes for the kingpins, top and bottom, as well as the seals on the backside. Make sure all those threads are in good shape. You're going to want to check these bolt holes for where the spindle connects to make sure they're not stripped or egged out or anything like that. And then you're going to want to give it a quick overall visual to check for any cracks or anything like that. As you can see, there is a small crack in that by the fill hole. I'm not overly worried about that. I don't think it's going to compromise the structural integrity of it. You want to take a good look at the inside too. As you can see, this one may have had a U-joint explode at one point. Took a little bit of a chunk out of there. But overall, it's in good shape, pretty serviceable. These are a spare that I keep on the shelf, so they should be a good candidate for the conversion. So the next thing we're going to do is chase all these tap holes. So we got 6 of them. I got my 3/8 24 tap. I also have a little bit of thread cutting oil, so we're gonna lube up the tap and quickly chase the thread holes just to make sure they're all cleaned out, so our bolts will spin in fine once we counterbore them from the other side. We'll speed this up a little bit to save you from having to watch me tap all these, so here we go. So as you can see, we did get a little bit of grit out of there, nothing major, but we did want to get these nice and clean before we try to thread the bolts in from the backside. So now that this is done, we'll take it over to the milling machine and we will work on counterboring the backside. So as you can see, we're over here at the mill. We've got the spindle flat on the table. We've got the counter bore mounted up in a collet, and we've got the pilot attached. So let's get drilling and get the backside of this counterboard. So you notice I do not have this knuckle secured to the mill table in any way. There is really not a good way to bolt these down. So you're gonna be very careful, just like you would on a drill press. We have the quill unlocked, so we're going to turn the mill on and slowly bring down the cutter so it goes into the hole, just like this. Turn it on, and we're just going to use the counterbore just enough to spot the surface, so there is a nice flat surface for the button head to rest up against, and we're going to go around and do that to all the holes. So here we go. So you can see that first one's done. You go just a tad deeper just to get a little more contact area over on this side, but you get the idea. So you just continue doing that until you have all 6 holes done. So now that we got all these holes spot faced, let's get it cleaned off and back over to the bench. So the last step is just to thread our bolts in from the back side, and that's it. So as you can see, now our knuckle is done. These button head bolts add quite a bit of strength to the knuckle, just to spindle flange. You just want to go back and make sure your button head screws are tightened the whole way down to the housing. And if you want, you can add a little bit of Loctite on there just so they don't back out when you're tightening up the spindle. But there you go, folks. There it is.